the seams.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Seems this Tuesday night?
The seems Tuesday night. We're doing it by perek.
No, I should, but 2 days from now, yeah?
Yeah.
We finish Tuesday night, and Wednesday night we start Nazir.
Okay.
When is how long is Nazir?
Usually 30 days.
65 block.
65.
65.
Finishes Erev Shabbos Agadol.
65 block.
Erev Shabbos Hagadol. Wow.
It's okay. That's a slow time for you, Reb Stein.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. But and then Saita's wild, right? Saita's wild stuff.
Saita's very short though.
What? Saita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saita's 46.
I was gonna buy a Gemara today. That's what happened. I didn't buy a Gemara.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So Nazir is a little bit of a continuation of Nedarim. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so we're on the Mishna. Naftali just came in, so we could start. Yeah. Yeah, so Zok the Mishnah, V'neder, yeah, we see it, pay chesam abeis. Okay, so that right off the bat, there's something very interesting about this first line in the Mishnah, because it says V'neder almana ugrusha yakum aleh, and the neder of an almana and a grusha, they have to keep it, because unfortunately, an almana and a grusha don't have anybody to be mater in the Nedarim. I mean, they have a chacham to be mater neder, but they don't have a husband to be made for it, right? And once they're married, their father can't do it. So they're out. But what's interesting is there's no pasuk that says that. V'neder almana grusha yakum aleh is not the pasuk. I don't know those that have the whole pasuk on the side of the Gemara. It's v'neder almana grusha kol asher asra al nafsha yakum aleh. It's interesting that the Gemara doesn't say like the Gaimer, it just skips the middle 3 words. More call the middle 5 words. It just skips it. But either way, so
what about Begaris? Why did the Mishnah not mention the Begaris? Wouldn't she be the exact same? Wouldn't she fall into the same?
A Begaris could be married. Her husband could be mater.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's the same scenarios. They could also get married. A widow could get married, and then the husband could not shopping. But guys could be in the exact same scenarios as a grusha or amana that then goes ahead, like the cases go on to say, where she makes an eder, and then for 30 days from now, and then her new husband that she marries goes ahead and it tries to be mater. We say she can't do that. A Bulgarian could be in the exact same scenario. Nobody can be mater neder now, and then later on, if she gets married, somebody could try to be mater neder. We say it doesn't work. Why is big any different than
Didn't we already say that from Nara? We already learned that.
So why would an almana be any different than that?
I mean, why does it need a pasuk?
Why are we splitting it? I'm saying a almana and grusha have the exact same dinim as a begaris, effectively. What would be the difference?
Well, yeah, but the point of a begaris was because she missed out on Naira. The point of almana grusha is because
okay, fine. So, but why would an almana grusha be any different than a begaris?
It's a good order. I hear it.
Akiva, maybe it's telling you because until 5 minutes ago they had somebody who could be mater neder for them.
Therefore, what?
Till 5 minutes before they wrote the Mishnah, they had somebody. That's all. So you would think they're different or something.
Meaning,
each one was married to a husband for 65 years. So they always had somebody. Then all of a sudden, Pitzling, they don't have anybody. So maybe that's why it's saying those two. Different than Begaris. Maybe.
Begaris. I hear. I don't know. It's a good. It's interesting because, one second, are they almana and a grusha? Can I be talking about almana and a grusha? That's the naira. and we're not holding by begeres? Maybe, could that be?
Maybe.
I don't know. Okay, whatever it is. In the next mission, we're going to see that it just throws around these lashonas anyways, and they're all lav dafka. But okay, so let's see. Anyway, so it says v'neder amana grusha yakum aleh. She has to keep it. Ketzad, right? Yeah. So what? How could that be? Meaning, what would be the hava? Ketzad here means. Why would you think that somebody could be matar the neder? She's not married anymore. Right, Kate, I don't know, but there's a chiddush here. What would be the chiddush? Amra hareini nazira lachas shloshim yom. She says that I'm going to be a nazira in 30 days. Afal pisha nistas b'soich lamed yom. So even though she got married within the 30 days, right? She gets up tonight, right now, and she says, I'm going to be a nazir in 30 days. Then the neder was made now, but it's not going to be till 30 days from now. Then in 2 weeks from now, she gets married. Does that husband have a right to be matar her neder? Right? Meaning, do you say that the husband's right to be matar the neder goes when the neder was made, in which case he can't be matar because he wasn't married to her when she made the neder? Or do you say that it goes when the neder is supposed to take place, in which case he is married to her, so he's allowed to be matar? Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward question, right? Meaning, when a woman makes a neder today, that it's going to be chal in 30 days from now, and then she gets married in between. So if you say the neder goes with when she made the neder, so then even though she got married and she's married b'shas the neder, the husband can't be matar. But if you say that it goes with when she made it bichal, she's married then, so maybe her husband can be matar. So we're saying any yochel hafer, you can't be matar it. Meaning, because we go with when the neder was made, which is going to see in the Gemara that there's a machlokes for this. Right? That's case number one. Case number two, on Tamid Aleph now. Nodra, the Hebrew Shus Habal. Right? Let's say she made a neder when she was married and Mayfrela, and he could be matar it, right? So what's that case? I mean, what's the chiddush with that? Ketzad. How? Meaning, what would be the case? Amra hareini nazira lachalamed. So if she says when she's married, I'm going to be a nazira after 30 days. Even though she became a widow, or she got divorced within the 30, it's considered mufar. Meaning, like, this is the opposite case of before. Here, when she made the neder, she was married. Then she lost her husband before the neder was supposed to take place, because she said it's going to take place in 30 days. So again, we go with the time that she made the neder, and the time she made the neder, she was married. So therefore, and the husband, nullified it. So therefore, since he nullified it, so then it's good, even though she wasn't married at the time the actual neder took place. According to this shita, you always go with what was her status when she made the neder, even though the status changed when the neder was supposed to take place, right?
How does the fara work after she's divorced? After she's divorced?
No, he made the hafara.
So how does it work? How does he allowed to do it? He's not married to her anymore.
He did it already.
When 30 days ago?
What?
She said, even though she was in the 30 days, when?
Because he made it. He made it. But the day he heard it. Yeah, it has to be the day he heard it.
Zev, while they were still married, he was made for it.
But there was no tonight till 30 days later.
Correct.
So what? That's the point of the Mishna.
We go with what the status was.
But there was nothing for him to be made for the first day.
Yes, it was. She made the neder, but it's not. She just made it that it's not going to happen for another 30 days. But she made the neder.
She made it's not. If she dies, there's nothing. I mean, there's no. Okay.
There's no chalois yet. That's what the Mishnah is saying. We don't care about the chalois of the neder. We care about the making of the neder.
Is it considered a neder, Gershon?
No, because he mastered it. It was a neder that the husband mastered.
Oh, yeah.
The second case, he mated the neder.
But it's considered a
basically what
neder,
we're saying
otherwise
is
the
that-
hafara wouldn't work.
Basically, we're saying that the hafara works because since we go with what was her status when she made the neder, even though she made the neder to happen much later, but what's the status when she made it? So what was the status? The status was she was married. So therefore it's mufar, right? And a chanami, if the husband wasn't made for it, then of course, then the neder is binding. Right? And then the third case in the Mishnah is not, we're going to see in the Gemara, it's going to be a machlokes. Not by B'yayim. She made a neder that day, right? She made a neder that day that she got married. V'niskarsha by B'yayim, right? We had this a couple of times. Again, she made a neder. Then when she was married, then niskarsha by B'yayim, she got divorced. Hichzira by B'yayim, and then he remarried her that day. Then he cannot be made for that neder that she made. Again, she made a neder 10 o'clock in the morning. 12 o'clock, she got divorced. 2 o'clock, she got remarried. Right? So it's all within that day. The husband should still have a right to be mated the neder. It doesn't work. Why? Because once she was out of his control for those 2 hours that she was divorced, so that's it. She lost it completely, even though it's still the same day. Once she's out for that particular neder. Obviously, if she makes a new neder at 3 p.m, then that one he could be mated. Right, but the one that lost the power, that's gone forever. Right, הכלל. This is the rule. If she goes out to her own rishus, meaning she got divorced, even for an hour, doesn't say even. I'm sorry, for an hour, which obviously is lav dafka. The husband can no longer be mater. Once she has her own power, then the husband's out. Okay, so there's basically 2 dinim taught in this Mishnah. One is that we always go with the time, what her status was at the time she made the neder, even if the neder is not going to take place for another month or 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And then the last case in the Mishnah is that once she's out from her husband being able to be mated neder, which is normally divorce, right? Then she's out, even if he's out, even if they get remarried that same day. Okay, now we're going to see that first din in the Mishnah that we always go with the time, what her status was when she made the neder is actually machlokes. So Tanya, almana ugrusha, sha'amra, if you have an almana and a grusha, meaning they're already divorced, right? And she says, Hareini nazira lekeshe enase. I'm going to become a nazira when I get married. Okay? Vinisis, and then she got married. Right? So it's a little different case. Again, she is almana negrusha, which is also l'chayra lav dafka, right? It could be anybody like Akiva was saying. It could be any single girl, right? She says right now, when I'm get married, I'm going to become a nazir.
Why could it be a single her father?
What?
A single girl, her father could be made for it, no?
A single only when she's a naira.
Uh-huh.
Right?
So it has to be. It can't be a naira.
If it be a naira, the father would also have to. Yeah. So anyway,
This could be a naira. She's an almana grusha. That's the case.
Well, if she's an almana grusha naira, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Right, but anyway, so here it's like when they get married, they become a nazir. Bidnisis, and now they got married. So now, what's the story here? Rabbi Yishmael, Yofer. Rabbi Yishmael says you could be made for the neder, right? Because why? Because obviously Rabbi Yishmael is not going with our Mishnah, and he's saying that when does the neder happen? When she says it's going to be, right? Which was after she got married. So now she's married, the husband can knock it out. Meaning, it's the same case as the Mishnah. It just sounds a little confusing. Again, they were single. They made a neder. When I get married, I'm becoming a nazir. Rabbi Yishmael says, great. So the minute they get married, the husband says, Arayat Mekudeshes Li, right? Oh, now she's a nazir. Now it's the first day I'm hearing it. I'm matir it. Right, and it works. Why? Because Rabbi Yishmael says you go with not when she made the neder, when she wanted the neder to take place, right? Not like the Mishnah that we just learned. Rabbi Akiva, And Rabbi Akiva says, no, he can't be made for it because it goes with what her status was when she made the neder. She was single then. So therefore, it doesn't work, which obviously Rabbi Akiva, our Mishna is Rabbi Akiva. Right? Because our Mishna says we always go with what her status was when she made the neder. The Simana, Peretz, this might be the song of the Daf. I don't know if he's Yalili, right?
Thought of
I
that.
was just typing that.
Yep.
You thought about that this morning? You thought about that?
I definitely thought about that this morning.
Oh, very good. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yes, so Yalili, what's a pshat? Because Yofer, Lo Yofer, Lo Yofer, Yofer. That's what that stands for. Right? What? That's not what the Yalili is. The song, I don't think that's what the song is talking about. I have no idea what the song is talking about. I don't think it means anything. I don't know, maybe it does. But
Could
anyway.
there be a chilik between this and our Mishnah? Here, the
Why?
chalais is tied to the nisuin.
Oh, so we're going to
Maybe.
see. Very good. Very good. That's Gemara's going to say. Very good. Yeah. You made me happy that I actually remember what the Gemara is going to say. Gosh, so I think. But Simona, the Yalili, why? Because there's two cases here. In this case, Rabbi Yishmael is saying Yofer, Rabbi Akiva is saying Lo Yofer. In the next case, it's going to be that Rabbi Yishmael is going to say Lo Yofer, and Rabbi Yishmael is going to say Yofer. So hence the Yud Lamed, Lamed Yud. That's a way to remember it. In case anybody had a hard time remembering anything from the Nedarim, all the cases, here you finally got a little shortcut, right? So that's case number one. Case number two is Eishus Ish, Sha'amra, an Eishus Ish, that she said, Hareini Nazira Likish Shezkarish. I'm going to become a Nazira when I get divorced. Viniskarish, and then she gets divorced. So now, right when the husband gives her get, she should become a Nazira. Rabbi Yishmael Loimer Lo Yofer. The husband cannot be made for the neder. Why? Because like we said, Rabbi Yishmael says it goes with what her status is at the time that she wanted this neder to take place. At the time she wanted this neder to take place, she's divorced. So the husband obviously can't be mounted to the neder. Rabbi Akiva, Aimer Yofer. Rabbi Akiva says no. It goes with what was her status when she made the neder. Well, her status when she made the neder was that she's married. So therefore, the husband is allowed to nullify it. Again, it's the same machlokes between Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva. It's just a matter of all the different scenarios, right? But again, Rabbi Yishmael holds that the neder goes with what's her status at the time she wants the neder to take place. So in the first case, she wants the neder to take place when she's married. Okay, so the husband can be matir the day they get married. He has that day. He has 24 hours to be matir, right? But in the case where she says she's married and she wants to become a Nazir when she gets divorced, so that Rabbi Yishmael says he can't be made for it because it goes with at the time she wants the neder to be chal, which is once she's divorced. And Rabbi Akiva says the opposite, right? So seemingly our Mishnah is Rabbi Akiva because our Mishnah goes with the time that she made the neder. Some Rabbi Yishmael hareu aimer. Now before that, what's the pshat? The Gemara is going to explain their machlokes. Some Rabbi Yishmael hareu aimer, but neder almana ugrusha, right? It's gonna what we said before. Yakom aleh ad sheyeh neder b'shas almanas ugerishin. So Rabbi Yishmael says that the neder has to be at the time that she is an almana and a grusha, right? Because meaning it goes with what she was when the neder was supposed to take place. Anything that she asks on herself. He needs to be the Isser neder that she made has to be at the time that she's an almana and a grusha, right? Meaning, if she made the neder when she was an almana and a grusha and she didn't have a husband, so even though the neder is taking place when she does have a husband, but since when she made the neder she did not have a husband, so therefore it's out. Right? That's.
Is it a buying ke'echad according to Rabbi Yishmael? Rabbi Akiva, I understand. Isn't the chalais buying ke'echad in both scenarios?
Isn't it buying ke'echad? And therefore, let's say it is buying kechad, so then it's a mamela.
Meaning, so then why invite her? Why doesn't she have the ability to be made for it if it's buying kechad? You should have the ability, if it's being chal then, to be made for it then.
Why? He's not divorced.
I'm saying
mean-
in the divorce part, because it's well, in the marriage part for sure. That's when he has the ability to be made for it. It was
Right.
chal. It was chal when he married her. In the case of divorce, it only happens while he's divorcing her. Meaning it's b'shas. It's b'shas the divorce. It's not
Right.
like it comes afterwards. So why can it be made for at the time of divorce also?
I hear. I don't know. I don't know enough about how it's chal. Is at that second how it's chal? I don't know
I'm saying
how
if
that
she
works
said I
exactly.
wanted to be made, I wanted it to be chal afterwards. I could understand that, but it's only it's coming together at the same time.
Right. So you want to say at that split second, maybe it could work. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
What is this, Schrodinger's cat? They're
Well,
married
that's
and
good. That
divorced
is
at
good
the
to be on the
same time?
podcast. Yes, that is the whole
Maybe.
sugi.
Right.
No, but they can't be married and divorced at the same time.
I'm not saying they can be married and divorced at the same time. I'm saying that the same way the chalais is happening in the marriage, within the context of the marriage, you could be
It's
made for it
not.
within the context. When is she being made chalais?
The chalais is when she gets divorced, not when she's married.
It's happening at the time of the divorce. It's going
Well,
to
it depends which case you're going with, but yeah.
all right. I'm saying in the marriage,
Either way.
same thing.
Yeah. I hear. I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's it's way above my head to try and figure that out. I'm not saying that's too high, but it's above my head. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Someone of Chistim. Masnisa Rebbe Kiva, right? Like we've been saying, our Mishnah is Mashmas Rebbe Kiva, because our Mishnah says it goes with when the status was when she makes the nether. And then abaya has a chiddush. Abaya Omar afilu temer Rabbi Yishmael. You could say our Mishnah is even Rabbi Yishmael. Again, Rabbi Yishmael says that the nether goes with when she made it, not when she made it, when she wanted it to take place. Right? How can you say that? How can you say our Mishnah is Rabbi Yishmael? Our Mishnah clearly says that the nether goes with what her status was when she made it, not when she wanted it to take place. Masnisin talya nafsha biyoyme. In our Mishnah, it was all on Tali in days, meaning she says in 30 days I'm going to be a Nazira, right? So therefore, that's an automatic that's going to happen, right? Brisa Talia Nafsha Benisuin, but the Brisa, she says if I get married, then I'm going to become a Nazir, a Nazira, right? That's not an automatic. That's not definitely going to happen, right? So maybe there. He's gonna say that maybe Rabbi Yishmael is gonna agree in that case, since the Nisuin may never happen. So therefore, it goes with what time what her status was when she actually made the nether, right? By 30 days, right? Maybe not, right? But by the brisa where it's Tully and her getting married, so it'll be a different case. Yeah, that's what. Right. So now what? Now meaning we're saying that Rabbi Yishmael would differentiate between what kind of nether she made. Is it a nether that's going to take place in 30 days, or is it a nether that's going to happen when she gets married? Fine. And he explains it. Let's say, right? Her days finished. They became complete. And she never got divorced. Or the days finished and she didn't get married, right? So then you only have to deal with what it is that she said when she made the nether, right? So Mamela, it's different. It's a different case. Possibly it's a different case. So therefore you can't compare the two, right? Okay. So then fine. So that's the end of that sugi. The bottom line is it's a machlokes whether we go with at the time she made the nether or at the time that she wanted the nether to take place. Fine. Now the Gemara says here, zeh הכלל, right? The rule at the end of the Mishnah, it says that anybody, once the woman goes into her own power for an hour, then the husband can no longer be matir the nether. But we had a Mishnah in the last perek that also said zeh הכלל. So first, the Gemara asks or says, what the Zeh HaKlal? Anytime the Mishnah says Zeh HaKlal, so then it's coming to include something. It's coming to include another scenario. Right? So what's going on here? So Zeh HaKlal, in the first Mishnah of last perek, right? Meaning that was talking about the case where a woman gets married, then gets divorced, then gets married, gets divorced, gets married. And with the final husband can be mater all the nedarim together with her father, right? Like he's sort of like a representative, right? And there it said that Zeh HaKlal, and the similar rule that calls man that she didn't go out totally by herself from her father. So then her father and her whichever latest husband she has can be mater. So Zeh HaKlal the Ketani Gabi Nairo Murasa, and this is obviously talking about a Nairo Murasa because if it's a Begeres, then she's already out from her father. So Zeh HaKlal the Ketani Gabi Nairo Murasa Lasuye Halachav Im Shluchei Abal. What would be the case is that the father went along with the shluchim of the Baal, meaning the Baal sent his shliach to pick up the wife, right, in order to marry her, in order to do nisuin. And the father decided to travel along. He's holding on to his daughter for as long as possible. So he decided to travel along with her. Or the father sent his gaboim together with her to the shluchim of the Baal. So we're saying in that case, since the father or the shluchim of the father was still traveling with the girl, memela, that's not called him letting go, and therefore he could still be mater the neder. That's what that Zeh HaKlal is coming to teach us in the last perek. Again, basically it's teaching us that in a case where the father traveled along, or he sent his shluchim to travel along with her, so she's not considered out of his house, and he still has rights to be mater the neder. Fine, that's the Zeh HaKlal from the last perek. This perek, Zeh HaKlal, this Mishnah, the Katani Gabi Ve'elu Nedarim, the Zeh HaKlal that it says in Ve'elu Nedarim, that's the name of this perek, Lasuye, it's coming to include a similar case. Masar Av L'Shluchei Abal, if the father gave her over to the shluchim of the Baal, meaning they handed her over, right? The previous cases where they stayed with her. Here they actually handed her over. Now the husband cannot be made for any nedarim from before that. It's just another way of saying that she's out of the father's rishus. And now that she's out of the father's rishus, the husband cannot be mater her nedarim. Meaning, if before they handed her over, he could be mater her nedarim because she was only engaged. But once they hand her over, then she becomes, it's similar to marriage, even though there was no nisuin there, but it's similar to nisuin, and therefore the father lost out, and now once the father loses out, so yes, the husband could be mater nedarim that she makes from here and on, but the nedarim that she made before this, he cannot be mater. Okay, so that's what the Zeh HaKlal is coming to include. Fine. Now we get into not a difficult Mishnah, but for whatever reason, this Mishnah decides to go at length of different scenarios of girls who cannot have their nedarim be mater. So Tesha naaros nidrein kayom. There are 9 naaros whose nedarim are makuyim, right? Meaning that nobody could be made for them. Yeah. But here the Rosh says that it doesn't mean necessarily naira, right? It could be a begeres too, just another nedarim type thing that it writes that it's a naira.
And a chacham can't be mater it?
No, we're talking about, no, you're right, 100%. A chacham can be mater, but we're talking about.
Okay, so it's okay.
It's the father husband, yeah. Father, well, really, in this case, it's really the father. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, that we're talking about hafara here, not what do you call it? Hatara. Yeah. So Tesha naaros nidrein kayam, there's 9 naaros that their neder is kayim by geres. So case number 1 is. So before that, let's just discuss. There's something called a yasam b'chaye avia, yasaima really b'chaye avia. Means we've had this a couple of times, but just for clarity's sake, let's repeat it. You have a girl who can be considered an orphan when her father is still alive. Right now, there are unfortunately absentee fathers who you can almost call them. You can call the kids Yishmael in the life when the parents are still alive. Unfortunately, but that's not what this is talking about. This is talking about a girl who got married. Right. Once she gets married, and she gets divorced, her father she has a father. He cannot be mater in the Nedarim, because once she got married, meaning the second stage, Nisuin, once she had Nisuin, her father's out, right? And therefore, even if she gets divorced or becomes widowed and she moves back into her father's house, her father has no power over her to be mater in the Nedarim. So basically what we call her a Yishmael, whose father is still alive. Yeah, I mean, you have your standard Yishmael, whose father is not alive, right? So her father's not alive, so obviously her father can't be mater in the Nedarim, right? But here her father is alive, and you still can't be mater. He can't be mater in the Neder because she already got married and divorced.
So they can't come with another lashon. They call her.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, they couldn't come up with a better name. On that note, Taka, it's my mother-in-law's yahrzeit. Rivka Bas Menachem Mendel Yosef tonight. So So Begeres Vihi Yisayma. So again, the first case is she's a Begeres. She's over 12 and a half. So then her father is out from her anyways. Vihi Yisayma, and she's a Yisayma because she has a father, but her father can't be mater her Nedarim. Right? That's a standard case. Next case is Naira Ubagra Vihi Yisayma. She was a Naira who became a Begeres, which is what happens to every Naira who gets to 12 and a half, she becomes a Begeres. And then the same case. She made a neder when she was a Naira. Then she became a Begeres. And then that's when everybody found out about the neder. So the father can't be mater because once she's 12 and a half, the father's out. That's case number 2 on Talmud Beis now. Case number 3 is Naira Shaloi Bagra V'hi Yisayma. You have a Naira who did not become a Begeres, but she's a Yisayma, which is the case that we just explained, which is that she was a Naira, 12 years old, got engaged, got married, got divorced, right? And she's still 12, she's not 12 and a half yet. So she's out because once she was married, her father has no control. That's the first 3 cases. Next case is Begeres Umesavia. This is standard Yasim, right? She's a Begeres, she's 12 and a half, and her father died, right? Naira Begeres Umesavia, or she was a Naira who became a Begeres and then her father died. Or in the third case is Naira Shaloi Bagra. She's a Naira who did not become 12 and a half, but Umesavia, and her father died, right? So obviously she has, in all these cases, she has no father, right? We're going to see that there's another sheet that says, why are you going through all these cases? They're all essentially saying the same thing. That she has no father, finish. Why make it so complicated? It's very interesting, right? Essentially what happened is she doesn't have a father to be mater her neder. So we have to say, oh, there's Begeres, and there's Naira that became a Begeres, and then there's Naira. Okay, very nice. But I'm saying that's pretty straightforward. Okay, fine. Third case is Naira Shemeis Avia Shemeis Avia Bagra. What happened is a Naira whose father died, and then she became a Begeres. Right? That's one. Begeres v'avia kayim, or she's a Begeres and her father's alive. So we know the father can't. We know after she's 12 and after the father can no longer be mater Nedarim. Naira Begeres v'avia kayim, or a Naira who became a Begeres and the father's still alive. Right? So the father's out too. So fine. So that's the basic way. In the Mishna, there's other mahalchim, but that's the basic way. Rabbi Yehuda says,
scary. You've almost Ksubas flashbacks here.
yeah. The truth is, Halavai Yavama should have been this easy. But I mean, not saying it's easy, but saying it's just all the scenarios are all basically the same, which we're going to see in the Gemara in a minute. Rabbi Yehuda seems to add something that also doesn't seem to be adding anything. Somebody marries off his daughter when she's a katana, right? And then she becomes an almana or niskarsha, the chazra etzloi, and she goes back to her father. Adayin he naira when she's a naira. So we know the din. He can't be matter than a Nedarim, right? Because once she got married, that's it. She's out of her father's property, right? It's basically another case of Yisayim v'chayaviyah, right?
Is there a machlokes here?
It does from the Ran. It seems like not.
I'm saying is that I'm just curious what if there would be a machlokes, what would be the other stuff? That it's not a real nesuin?
If she's the katana, I guess.
The father has reshus over her. Why is it any different than selling her?
What?
The father has reshus. Why would that not be a real nesuin?
Maybe when she's
There's a
katana.
havamina, there's a tzad that his nesuin's not a real nesuin.
No, it's a real nesuin, but I guess when she's a katana, maybe she goes back to her father.
The tzad is that even though, but once it's nisus, you're yotzim reshusah.
Correct.
That's not true according to Shita.
I guess not. I guess we need the Shita that says that to argue it.
Yeah, if there's a, if there's machlokes review, then the Tanakh, exactly.
Yeah, so I didn't spend time finding out the other one. That I was happy that I just got the Ron's shot. I was ready. I was happy with that. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm assuming that's what it would
I'm saying
be.
I never heard of such a tzad. That's why it's a chiddush to me.
Right. And maybe that's why it's the end of Nedarim. Yeah. Okay. So the Gemara says, Amar Yehuda Amar Rav Zu Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. That's the way Rabbi Yehuda said the Mishnah, right? Which is quite interesting because Rabbi Yehuda is the one that said at the end he added his own thing, and now we're saying that the whole Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. What was that? What's that, Rabbi Yehuda? No. The Mishnah doesn't have an author. The first part of the Mishnah. Then it says Rabbi Yehuda Aimer. So the Ran says he's not reading. He's just adding a different wrinkle, but he's not adding anything to it. And then the Gemara is saying, no, Amar Yehuda Amarav, Zu Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. So that means the whole Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. Right? So then why did it say Rabbi Yehuda Aimer? Okay, whatever it is. There are 3 nairos whose nedarim are kayim. Baigeris, one is the Baigeris, because her father doesn't have power over her. Yisaima, and a Yisaima, who obviously his father doesn't have, can't be mater her nether because she's an orphan. And Yisaima Chayav and Yisaima Chayav, very straightforward. Right? It's a very straightforward thing. Yeah. Should we stop here? Okay, let's see a little bit about this is the Mishnah. This now we continue with making the Dharm on with Tanoim. Yeah, we'll start the Gemara and then we'll see. So she makes a neder that she's not going to get hana from her father or her father-in-law. If I do anything for you, right? This is some shalom bias issue. She says to her husband, if I do anything for you, then I will become usher to my father and your father. Right? So she's putting some major pressure on him not to take anything from his wife, because then she's not going to be able to give anything to her father or to his father. That's case number one. Or she says, she says, I'm not going to give benefit to you if I do anything for your father or my father. In both cases, it could be mefer. Now there's a chiddush here, because she didn't really make a neder here, right? She's saying, if I do A, then I'll be in it. Then I'm going to be awesome. So don't do A, right? Don't do A, and then you won't have the issa. Right? Meaning, so the question is, what the Mishnah's saying is that considered a neder or not? Meaning, can he be made for this neder now? It wasn't in existence. Can a husband be made for a neder before it takes place? Right? That's essentially the question. So the Mishnah is saying that yes, he can. When she says that I am making a neder, that I'm not going to benefit my parents or my father, your father, if I benefit you. So he could say, okay, I'm out of here, right? He can go overseas, not be anywhere near her, and the nether never going to take place. So why should he have the right to be mater? So the Mishnah says, no, he could still be mater, right? Now, why? So that already we said, that's called either dvarim beino leveino, right? Because that's going to come in between them, or it's going to be considered a tsar what's it called? What's it called? A goof. Come on. We're already in the Dharma. I still can't remember. Not Cholia Guf. It's not Soros Aguf. What's it called?
Inui nefesh.
Inui Nefesh. Thank you. I'm totally off. Inui Nefesh. Right? That's called an Inui Nefesh because if she can't get benefit from one particular person, it's Inui Nefesh. Right? So again, the main thing to know from this Mishnah is that even though the neder may never take place, still the husband can be matter the neder. Right? But the Gemara says it's actually machlokes. Tanya, she'eni nenes la'abu lovicha. She says, I'm not going to give hana to my father, to your father. Imani aisa laficha, if I do something for you. Rav Nosson Omer lo yafer. Rav Nosson says he can't be mefer, which is not like our Mishnah. Right? Why? Because it's not a neder yet. It's a neder on a t'nai. It's a neder on a condition. He can't be matir because it wasn't yet a neder. The neder didn't kick in. And the Chachamim say he can be made for it because it's a neder on a t'nai. It's considered a neder. Another case, Natula Animina Yehudim in Misham Shesay. She says, I'm going to take myself away from all Yidden. She's saying, when we say that has to do with Tashmish, she says, if I sleep with you, I'm going to be usher to sleep with every other Yid. So Rav Nosson Omer lo yafer, he can't be mefer because the neder never took place. The neder is only kicking in once she sleeps with her husband. So don't sleep with the husband, and the neder never takes place. But Chachamim, what?
She's also to everyone. Second, she got married.
Correct. So she's saying, if you sleep with me, I'm going to be also to everybody else.
But she is also to everyone else.
What?
She is also to everyone else.
Correct. After they get divorced. Right? That's what she's saying.
If I sleep with my husband, I'm also to everyone else after you divorce me?
No, but she means to him. She's making a neder that she's not going to be neder from anybody else after she gets divorced, and she's also not going to sleep with her husband. Right? Yeah, and then so Rav Nosson says lo yafer, he can't be made for it because don't sleep with her, and then it's not a problem. The Chachamim saying no, you can't be made for it. So basically, what we're saying is that the din in the Mishnah that a conditional neder can be made for, because the Mishnah says beferish that the husband can be made for a conditional one, but it's actually a machlokes. It's a machlokes tanoim. Right? Okay, then the Gemara brings a Maisa, but we'll stop here and we'll start that over just to make sure everybody's on the same page tomorrow, and then we'll start it again. All right, have yourselves a fine night.
Shkoyach.
Okay, sehr gesund. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good night.
We have it's not a long block, but it's a decent sized block Tuesday night.
What are you saying?
It's not a long block, but it's a decent sized block Tuesday night still.
So was that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's like a regular shir, Kamath.
So unless we should go a little more weiter tomorrow night.
No, we can have a regular shir. We start. That's why we start at 8 o'clock earlier.
Yeah.
It's Yaakov. I heard Nazir is like Nedarim. Has the same. Doesn't have as much polish as the rest of the Shas. So I heard.
I never learned Nazir cover to cover, just like I never learned Nedarim.
Right, I'm saying, but it's the same. It's the same. Like it's slightly off when it comes to the Shaka V'Tayr.
Do they say that also? But no, because Nedarim,
I think so.
Nedarim, they didn't want to include in Shas some, right? It wasn't necessarily.
I don't know. You have to look up like the history of it. There's like historical stuff on it.
Also with Nazir?
I think it was lumped with it when I was reading up in the history of.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Ritziako, is Nazir the regular Rashi over there?
I don't think so.
Not?
Yeah.
It's saying it's not. It doesn't say. I don't think we look at it like.
I took a look at the Gilead Ashatz brought down something about it not being from Rashi. I wasn't sure.
I haven't looked into it. Yet.
Didn't we have a husband being mater neder for a neder that a wife didn't she didn't make yet by Hataras Nedarim every year? If he's mater neder on behalf of his wife, so he's mater neder for any neder she makes going forward. Didn't we discuss that already?
We did.
I-
We did.
'Cause
What
we were
we end
talking
up
about that.
saying? Yeah.
I-
But
I-
what did we
we
end up
talked about it
saying?
not that long ago. I don't remember.
I don't remember what we said about that either. But here, but he didn't do that.
What was
Yeah.
the case over here?
She made the neder. Now the question is, can he be matir?
I thought we were trying to find the scenario where he could do it before she ever made the neder.
No, we're talking about the neder is not going to kick in.
Oh.
Right? The neder, meaning she made the neder. He wasn't matir. She made the neder, but it's not going to be chal for another 30 days, let's say.
Okay.
Right? That's that case.
Akiva, there is a Gillian Ashas that says it's not from Rashi, from Chidah. And the Nusras Harivan says that the Pirish is L'Ravenu Yehuda Bar Nasr,
Where does it say that?
whoever that is. The first, the beginning of Nazir. Beis Hamad Aleph. The Gillian Ashas says, and he quotes the Shema Gedolim, the Chidah.
I didn't assume Nazir originally. I always thought it was just Nadarim. And when I was reading the history of Nadarim, like the theories about why it's different, I think they lump in Nazir with that. That's why.
It is a direct continuation of the Nadarim.
Right. It could. Yeah.
It's essentially the same Masach.
Yeah, but the blot are longer.
Yeah.
No?
Maybe the
a little
Ron
bit.
shorter Ron.
I mean, some of them are. No, it's around the same as Nadarim.
Yeah,
There are some normal sized plots in Nazir.
We had that in Nedarim too.
Yeah, but they're really shorter than average across shots.
I don't know. Hay is pretty big. Hay Amid Aleph. Vav is pretty small. I guess the first couple of blot are regular size.
Right.
It's Yaakov, we're still dealing with Yadus and Kenan and Aziris, so there's that.
Yadus. You remember the good old days of Yadus? Oh.
Trying to forget
it.
I can't say I got a handle on it. There you go.
No, yeah.
Which Gillian Ashas you saying? The first one?
First Gillian Ashas. First one.
Shema Gedolim from the Chidah, yeah.
Yeah. And on the other side of my Gemara, there's a Nusras Harivan. Brings a Ksav Yashin.
Is that the accepted thing? I mean, Shema Gedolim is the Shema Gedolim, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty accepted.
They have a Rivan here. It's a Rishon.
Yeah.
Rivan says it's L'Rabbeinu Yehuda Bar Nasr Zatzal.
Right.
Whatever that was.
They're saying that
the
the
Rivan.
I'm saying they're saying that is the Rivan.
That is the Rivan. Yeah. Oh, that's what this Nusras Harivan.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. The Mefarish is the Rivan, which was saying the same thing in the Dara.
Right.
On that note, you got to hear this. My brother Yisrael told me a Rashbam on Parshas Vayeshev. Mamish, it blew my mind, changed my life, probably for the bad. I don't know, the Rashbam in the beginning of Parshas Vayeshev, you ever see this? He says a pshat, different than his grandfather. He says, I asked this to my mother's father, Rashi, and he said, yeah, if I would have had more time, I probably would have written that pshat, but I didn't have time. Can you imagine? Everybody's saying Rashi Ruach HaKodesh and Rashi this, and Rashi basically said, I didn't have time. You have to see it inside.
There's another way to explain that.
Justice. You have to see it inside. Don't trust me for the way I'm understanding it, but that sure seems like what he says.
I should email you if you have time. My brother sent me from a sefer that he has, all Maisa about Rashi. It's 2 pages. But essentially, Rashi, after he wrote his Parish, after he was happy with it, excuse me, he spent 30 years begging in front of the Kisei HaKavod to be allowed to release his Parish. because there's so much in Pirush Rashi that is Nister, Nigla, whatever, that he wasn't allowed, for 30 years, he wasn't allowed to reveal his Pirush on everything.
Right.
So it's hard to say that he didn't have time.
Okay, so I mean,
think it means on a
Rashbam.
different level. That
Okay,
means that, yeah.
you do whatever you want with it. I'm just telling you what the Rashbam.
Yaakov, on that note, I saw a very interesting. I heard an interesting Evan Ezra this past Shabbos. Did you see the Evan Ezra on the Seres Hamakos?
No, I don't see anything. I see
He
Rashi.
brings. I mean, he's medactic in the shyness of the Makos, but basically he says that many of the Makos, Klal Yisrael suffered along with the Mitzrayim. He learns up that they suffered. They did not. They suffered when it came to Dam. They did the same thing as Dam. Only certain Makos that would have affected their livelihood or would have killed them, the Hainu like Arav, were they saved. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the HaKadosh Baruch Hu Machalik. But he says many of the Makos, they suffered the Makos as well. For sure, the first three Makos.
I think I heard that before.
I mean, it's a tremendous glitch. I don't think anyone else learned, any of the other Rishonim learned that up when it comes to the Makos.
What's the pshat that Rashi didn't have time for?
I don't remember. I don't remember what the pshat. I didn't even look at the pshat. He just showed me that concept. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think I ever heard that.
What, that Rashbam?
No, the response for sure not, but that the Klal Yisrael suffered during the Makos.
You never heard? I've definitely heard that before.
But that, to me, that's a huge glitch. That means that what was the Kadosh Baruch Hu showing them? You saw him cause he wanted everyone to suffer. Wasn't the whole point to show them that he? I mean, I guess they still saw his hand, but like, why should Lafiz that makes a lot of sense why Power didn't listen.
Yeah,
because he's like, well, everyone's suffering. Klal Yisrael's not special. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear.
Definitely not how we're brought up.
No, that's for sure not. But we know already.
Makos 10, the Mitzvah and Klal Yisrael were punished was never a song.
We know that everything we brought up with was not legit. So
I hear that.
Anyways. All right.
Go ahead.
On that note, everybody should have themselves a fine night.
Take care.
Okay, Zag is on.
Shikayach, have a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Yeah. What just happened?